Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Well, hello, and look who I found.
Oh, good morning.
It's good to see you.
Likewise.
Missed you. Happy New Year.
Same to you, my dear. Did you make
thank you.
resolutions?
I never
on air?
do.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Do you?
No.
It seems like I would rather make a resolution when I'm feeling resolute, not necessarily on a phony anniversary,
of course,
where
yes.
everybody's going to do it.
Or I'm going to the Bahamas on January 29th. I will lose weight in 3 weeks. That's sort of silliness, yeah.
But no, I should. I mean, there's plenty of things I need to attend to.
Okay.
But I just don't know. I don't feel ready.
Okay, well, when you get that get up and go,
well,
you'll
when
go.
I do, I do. But I'm often,
I'm
often late to the party. It takes me a while. I wander in the desert for a while, and I'm still.
That's why one of my friends, who's now deceased, he had never been to Egypt. And for years, he was a musician, but he was interested in history and archaeology and all the business. So I remember he would say, when I finally go to Egypt, I can't be late to the pyramids. So he planned this trip where he would fly first to Rome, and then he'd stay in Rome for 2-3 days, so then he'd be back up to, speed after jet lag, what have you. And then he had to get to Egypt at a certain time so he could sleep and then get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
To see the sunrise.
Yes, right. So he said, he wrote his postcard to all of us, I was not late for the pyramids.
So he did.
And he died that year after.
Oh, did he?
After he was in late, but
he got it done.
Yeah, he got it done. Yeah.
I don't have a bucket list like that. Do you?
No, I really don't.
I don't.
I mean,
either.
I've been very lucky, I will say, in my life.
Yeah, that you've had a lot of.
Traveled a lot.
Yeah, right.
And had some successes, etc.
But
no, I don't. It's like I must see the Volga at midnight.
No, I don't
with
either.
a bottle of Veuve Clicquot in my hand.
I mean, when I think of things to get done before I shuffle off my mortal coil, it's things like
pay Duquesne light bill.
Yeah, right. It is. It's like tidying up. It's not
right.
wanting to leave a mess, and just sort of making sure that, for instance, my son is on a good
Well, but that's a
path
major thing. That's not a minor thing.
Yeah, but that's, to me, and that everything is sort of, in its place.
Well, as Churchill said, if you take care of the pennies, the pounds will take care of themselves.
Okay, all right.
And if Churchill said it, honey, then
it must be
do
right.
it.
That's right. But I don't have, I don't yearn for things. I don't.
You're a plain Wisconsin girl.
I really am very sort of,
Well,
plain.
that's good, I think.
I got a call the other night from Fiji.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. That is as halfway around the world.
The stripper out on McKnight Road.
Oh, it's actually somebody I knew. No, Fiji. It's in the... actually...
Borneacapise. That's how you say hello.
I think if you drilled straight down from here, you might end up
really?
sort of in Fiji.
I thought it was always China.
Well, it was always close, but I really think it is literally 24 hours away and as far as you can get going north-south. It's close.
Well, what doth Fiji say?
Well, the person I was talking to in Fiji, who I was talking to when it was 10 below here, was saying, I'm on the beach. It's 80. Blah, blah, blah. It's so beautiful here. You can't believe it. And I was thinking where some people would feel like, shut up.
Yeah,
what do you? I thought, well, how nice. And I was perfectly happy to be in
Freezing your
Pittsburgh.
tootsies
I was.
Well, now, why did
that.
this person call you to give you vicarious
No.
pleasure,
I think he called to commiserate because he had seen on his Twitter feed or something that the Green Bay Packers have lost or something. I don't know.
He's in Fiji. He's worried about
I know. So he called. No, he wasn't, but he noted it and then thought of me.
See.
So I thought of you and
let me sip my margarita.
I don't want to go to Fiji.
I don't want to go to Fiji either.
And I was thinking, I don't want to go to Bali. I don't want to go to Mali.
Well, Mali has great architecture.
Mali
has some of the earliest other than the old library in Egyptian times in Alexandria, Mali has some of the most amazing early libraries where books have been kept for hundreds and hundreds, maybe even 1,000 years.
Oh, yes,
and
I know
recently,
this. That's right. There was, because some of them, there was
magazine.
fear that
Some have gotten
destroyed.
Up, yeah. But yeah, books from 100 BC. I mean, amazing.
So I always thought there was sort of a defect in me that I didn't have this, sense to move out and explore. And when I have, because I have traveled, I love Italy, and I loved Israel, blew my mind, and I could go back there 100 million times. And I love Scotland, and every time I have moved, I've enjoyed it, but I don't feel an itch. You shut up. I see that look on your face, and you're going to say something smart.
Yes.
Okay,
well,
guys.
Tell me which powder you use so you don't feel the itch. It's just dry skin. For most of us
it's just
winter.
Dry skin. So, but if you go someplace like Fiji, where it is humid and you don't have dry skin, and you don't itch.
It's I guess one of it's subtropical. It's interesting.
I don't know.
It may not be, but I mean, certainly it's warm and humid. And I'm sure it's pretty. I mean, there's no question. But, but I can't see myself in a sarong.
Nor can I.
Oh no, I think you would look.
No, I'm saying I can't see you in a sarong.
Oh, but you'd be macho machutis. You'd be grand and.
I could be grand because it's somewhat like a muumuu.
Well, not really.
No, not really.
The muumuu gives you amplitude. The sarong
is sort of clings. Well, I don't know. So anyway, enough.
Enough of sarong.
I know what these folks want to talk about.
Chris Christie.
You betcha. And I got to tell you, I who don't normally watch the television news type things in the evening or in the morning, I was channel hopping last night.
Now, did any of them show him responding to this?
No, he hasn't responded.
Oh, he hasn't.
He's responding as soon as our program ends.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
At 11, and he's having some kind of a conference, news conference. I mean, this is to me.
It's the worst kind of sort of Tammany Hall.
It's a death sentence. I don't even know how.
Screw your enemies.
It is so as you read these emails and messages back and forth. It is so mostly what I think is it's so small. It's so
Schadenfreude.
petty. It's so it's so good God. I mean, it bespeaks such an extraordinary, serious character flaw.
Well, it's interesting because they're talking.
And even if he hasn't done it, I mean, he himself didn't do it. The fact is, and underlings, especially if you work for a scary guy like that, underlings clearly know.
Well, it's interesting.
What
There's one part they're
the
saying,
boss.
"Oh, the big problem is this is in one
The
of these
little
emails.
kids?
So yeah, little kids getting to school. Please help. It's maddening." And this person responds, "Is it wrong that I'm smiling?"
Yes.
And the other person says, "Well, they may be children, but they're the children of Buono voters," which was the
meaning
guy
they're children of Democrats.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
Yeah.
And that in fact people were kept from getting to hospitals in time.
Who knows?
There might have been a death as a result. There might have been, let alone, the untold multitudes of people who missed important appointments, who were, and all because a mayor who was a Democrat did not endorse the Republican for governor?
I mean, it's sort of almost like a 21st century version of Let Them Eat Cake.
Well, it's also, there's something, it's almost like, it's as ugly, I hate to mention The Sopranos, it's New Jersey. It is that unforgiving, that tough, that ugly, that nasty, and that, hey, You didn't do it. Here's the payback, buddy.
Right.
I mean, there is something
really.
just unbelievably.
Cut off their fingers. I only cut off your pinky this time. Next time it'll be the pointing finger.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know how he survives this. I mean, in terms of, I don't even know if he survives it as the governor of New Jersey.
Oh, really?
He's about to be sworn in again for a second term that he won by apparently scaring the crap out of everybody in the state. But, and I've heard some people saying, oh, this doesn't have, no one in, Paducah or blah, blah, blah cares about this kind of thing if he's, no, it destroys.
Well, because no one wants
someone who would do that.
Who would be so petty.
Right.
I mean, I was just thinking, the only person who makes him look semi-good is that, I don't know if you saw on the news or on YouTube, that news conference with
Rodman, yeah.
That was so unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
I mean, he was obviously coked up.
No, he was drunk. He said he was drunk.
But that was unbelievable.
But, Dennis Rodman, was not being thought to be the great,
well, he's not a public official either.
Great white hope that was going to save the Republican Party.
No, exactly.
And, wow. I mean, just flat out.
It's almost Nixonian in his sort of like zingers.
Well, it is Nixonian. And caller, go ahead.
Hi, guys. It's PJ from Greensburg. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, PJ.
So here's what strikes me about that. Well, first of all, let's assume that Christie didn't know. Let's assume that
fine.
he in fact didn't know.
Didn't
Even
know.
though this all came from his office.
Right.
And when you say his office, it sounds like they're all sitting in a room together, but it's a metaphor for his people.
It's a suite of rooms, I am quite sure, in the executive office.
It's not as if you could be assumed that he came from his office, so obviously he had to know. Well, it's possible he didn't know. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, but even if he didn't know, there was obviously enough of a climate of fear and meanness, dirty tricks, that these people would know that even if he didn't know, if he found out about it, he would have agreed or liked it.
Well, and the other thing is that his response to the question of whether he knew
was joking,
or whether his people did this,
he joked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the response was just nasty. I went personal accusations about being stupid. And his response was as petty as the action.
Yeah.
But that's his MO. That's his style. That's in fact what a lot of people like about him. That he can just be flat out mean.
What bothers me the most, and why I would not want him in office if that's his attitude and the way he approaches things.
You know that where he went after some school teacher who dared to question him about something and just screamed at this teacher, screamed and screamed. That became one of these iconic Christie moments that people loved. Yeah, look at him. So he was the people's bully. They loved it, but the people were on that bridge for 4 days.
Yeah, they didn't love it.
Well, and the other thing is, and Rachel Maddow had this right, is that thank God for the small paper news reporter.
Is that what happened? Is that who got the?
It was it was a guy that was for one of the small local papers. They kept pushing the point, point, and in fact, his name was bought by Wildstein, the guy who orchestrated this thing.
The guy at the Port Authority, right? Mm-hmm.
He bought his name, his internet name. He bought the reporter's name, so the reporter, and when you go to whatever joeblow.com, it goes to the rival newspaper's website.
Well.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
And it's not the first time that he's done that. Now, here's the other thing, though, is that, okay, let's say that this is some sort of, if it's not murder, it's manslaughter. This is some sort of terrorism light. In this day and age, when people throw around terrorism,
right.
It's like terrorism light. If you don't do what we want, we're gonna make your life miserable.
Well, he's like the
so that
twin
you
in more
eventually
ways than
do it,
one.
You go our way. So this story is really captured, as you can tell.
Yeah, well, it's also what's great about this story is it's one it's not arcane. It is something everybody can comprehend.
Oh yeah, sure.
We understand, a toll booth,
Right.
a very busy, important bridge, trying to get to work, how closing 4 lanes
Sure.
for no reason at all other than for political retaliation. Everybody understands this, so it's not complicated.
Well, he could be like
and the sheer arrogance.
well, right. He could be like the twin because he sort of looks like him, the mayor of Toronto, who's also a roly-poly, potty-mouthed,
No,
nasty.
but Christie, I have to say, is a better-looking man. Ford. Oh no, Ford.
That man would not be on The Bachelor.
All right, fine. Ford, when is not only huge, but he's unpleasant.
Bestial.
He's got a horrible-looking
Demeanor.
Yes. So yeah, PJ, it's something, and we'll look forward to the way this one
Plays out.
unravels. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
we'll see you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for your
Bye-bye.
call. I think the who said Nixon? Somebody
I
said
did.
You said Nixon. Well, the first time I heard Nixon when I was trolling around last night was by a guy who I believe served in that White House. Did he?
Oh, all those nasty
Well,
people.
no,
like
but he's not
Haldeman and-
but he's not a nasty person. This was David Gergen.
Oh, right.
And I
Yeah.
think, did he do a little time in the Nixon White House? I don't know, whatever.
And didn't he go?
But
Was he the one who went to jail for a while? And then he
No.
became religious? One of those Nixon.
Yes, Colson.
Oh, Colson. That's right.
No.
And he was mean.
Gergen is a fine man who has served in a number of administrations, including the Clinton administration.
That's right. Yeah.
David Gergen, who's been around, knows stuff, and seems to have a very, strong core, brought up Nixon. And as soon as he said Nixon, he sort of thought, ooh, he said, not that but he said, here's what I know. I don't know, and no one ever does know, if Nixon ordered the break-in at the Watergate.
Right.
But the people who did in his circle understood what Nixon would want done.
Well, and
that is the atmosphere that is created.
Yeah.
So he was saying it's very hard for Christie in any way, even if nothing completely, you can't get the smoking gun that puts it on his desk. But you can't have people this close to you.
Right.
The guy at the Port Authority is a high school pal, his best friend.
Right.
You can't have your major inner circle people engaging in this activity and not have it completely end up in your lap.
No, exactly.
It's in your
Well, it's like people
lap.
talk about, whether politicians or bosses, what have you, or families even, that what will please the macher, so to speak.
That's right, yes.
And, you mentioned The
big guy.
Sopranos, and drama though that may have been, after, we killed the guy, and what was his name, the actor, sort of smiling there, Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini. Rest in peace. But that's true. And the thing is, politicians, you could see them being, and this is a sort of weird thing to say, evil, but not petty.
Yes, there can be a grandeur to their
yes.
but not in this case. This is so ugly.
And who has time? If you're a governor of a state,
who has time for that kind
there
of
are
stuff?
murders, and what if that bridge had collapsed at the weight of all those cars? It's mean.
Okay, here is something Barbara has sent us. This was a comment posted. Okay. Well, I'll read it. What Christie did in Fort Lee with the bridge lane closures is only minor compared to the massive destruction he has done to the poor and working class of New Jersey. He wiped out thousands of state and local government jobs, especially in education. Remaining government workers have faced major wage and benefits cuts, demoralizing them. He's a big-time flag waver for charter schools and teach to the test, although New Jersey has among the best K through 12 education programs in the country. Property tax rebates to working and middle-class homeowners were cut. And how's he so popular then? And he rejected renewal of state income tax surcharge with the richest residents. Towns and counties have been massive cuts in state. You see, but this didn't seem to get any of this. He was voted. He's a Republican governor in a Democratic state who was reelected recently by what? With like 70% of the vote?
Well, but also I think...
Well, if you did all this,
yeah, but,
why would...
Well, but if we think of the 1%, there's good parts of New Jersey that are extremely wealthy. And I'm sure all of the things that Barbara mentions did not touch them one iota.
So this is somebody who obviously didn't vote for him. He did not create a state exchange for access under the Affordable Care Act. He refused to raise the state's very low gallon. Okay, all right. Christie is no good in so many ways, and I hope this scandal leads to him and realizing he is like too many right-wing extremist Republicans. Okay, I really think, I think you will see even the Wall Street Journal today. Has an editorial.
Oh, editorial, wow.
And it's just a little one because there's not a lot of information here.
Right.
But quite clearly, they are saying that if this, in any way, he's gone. I mean, the Journal's already said, pretty much.
He's going to be eating those donuts tonight, isn't he?
I was thinking that, and he had that surgery because not because he wanted to be around for his children, but because he wanted to run for president
and look more
svelte. And he'll want donuts tonight. I don't know. He was probably
funny. We should all call Krispy Kreme and send like 24 donuts to his house. That would be a kind of vicious response.
Krispy Kremes.
Christy. I don't think so.
I know, but I'm making a pun.
I see. Oh, my, how marvelous. I didn't even think about that. You are quite the something, Miss Thing.
And I also said, those things on highways they call Jersey barriers?
Oh, yes, right.
I said, well, now I understand maybe the derivation of Jersey barriers, right? What?
Such a wag.
Such a wag. That'd be me. Okay, guys, anything and on this? I mean, this is such a rich, easy to hit.
It makes our governor look good for a minute.
It makes almost, yeah. I mean, this guy is right up there with the Borgias. I mean, he is awful. He is simply flat out.
Said, let's bomb the Squirrel Hill Tunnel at rush hour.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, what? Unbelievable. Here's a guy with power who uses it in such an extraordinarily petty way. And let me just add this before we go to a break. There's still a lot more to be uncovered about this.
Oh, sure.
And the results of this.
And who knows if this will open other kinds of
I have to tell you, I think there
could
end up, a lot of stuff could end up in court here. And I can absolutely see a lot of civil cases as a result.
I missed my lawyer's appointment. I was to go to the hospital. I had a heart attack. Yeah,
and potentially criminal cases.
Yeah,
because this kind of abuse of authority, I think, rises to such a level that I don't know.
And it's the kind that people
elements.
That's where everyone is just going to be, because we all could see ourselves on that bridge. It's not something grandiose, but it's like all could have been in that seat. Yes.
Yep. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Yeah, 4 days running, and they were laughing about it. Unbelievable. Petty. Amazing how someone so large can be so small. We're taking a break. Be right back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Happy New Year from the all-new BergBargains.com. Log on today for the best deals from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, and shows. Sign up for the weekly email update for your chance to win gift cards from Mad Mex, Sonoma, Kaya, Ceviche, Casbah, and NOLA. The all-new BergBargains.com. Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about, Charles Colson.
He found God.
He was the one who said that he'd run over his grandmother to do Nixon's bidding or whatever. He seemed to be like the most evil horror.
Yes.
He did go to jail. He found God in jail. I thought, oh yeah, right, he found God. But he did. He completely turned around and established a prison ministry.
That's right. Yeah, prison ministry.
And the reason I know it did a lot of good work.
He talked to you when you were in the clinker.
No, but there's one degree of separation between him and me, because someone who now is very much in the circle of my family was somebody who was essentially saved by Charles Colson in prison.
Really? Wow.
This is a guy who was a murderer.
Really?
Yep. And he was convicted when he was like 19 or 20. He was serving life in a Wisconsin prison. And through the Colson ministry, he grew up.
Yeah.
He educated himself, and he is such an extraordinarily well-read, kind Christian man. He finally got out not too long ago. He spent literally almost his entire life in prison. And he can't do enough for people.
Wow.
And, he wanted to he's so smart, he wanted to get it, no one would hire him. So he does odd jobs. He goes all over the place. He travels to help people do this, to do that, all throughout. He lives this
this is the thing.
And I mean, that's one life.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, you say both Colson and this friend or whatever of yours, it shows you that when prison works, this is what happens, not...
But it wasn't the prison work, it was this ministry.
Well, all right,
that was
but the
allowed
question is, if there's the right kind of ministering in with a small m, people can turn around. That's what you want the prisons to be, not to turn these folks into even more monstrous creatures.
Now, what I know him to be a good man, but I do find his religiosity often tiresome. Do you know what I mean? Even though I see what good works he and his wife do, I think.
Well, the interesting thing about that is, I just wonder if one has been so deeply in it vis-a-vis criminality that you then have to drink the whole Kool-Aid, even if it's something as good as faith or what have you. That's
a great Thomas Nast cartoon.
Especially Christie.
Yeah.
But no, that you can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to be a good guy. You have to just do the thing full on, meaning, that he has to just be throwing out
because
Jesus
he
every
knows.
3 seconds.
I mean, the penance
penance, exactly.
The kind of burden and pain he carries is... it's sort of... You can't even imagine. Now, obviously... my family was a little freaked out when he came into our life, and he did by virtue of who he married.
I see.
Somebody who had gone to see him in prison, one of those classic things. And she was very attached to my family. And so we thought, oh, God, this murderer is getting out, and there was fear. And there wasn't with me, of course, the liberal. I was saying, oh, come on. Yeah. But my parents were worried.
Well, you always think of
And-
that story, like, well, who was it? The famous American writer, who had this correspondence in prison with the fellow.
Truman Capote.
No. That was
Norman Mailer.
Norman Mailer, and the guy came out.
And he did.
within
Yes, that's right.
12
that's right.
hours, he murdered
He murdered
someone?
somebody. Right.
So
So that kind of thing, but no, he's now someone who will go out of his way to make sure my mother's okay. Will bring her venison sausage he's made. It's just
corporal work of mercy, as the Catholic would say, the bringing of the venison sausage.
But I mean, it's made me see how you can disparage Colson. Turned himself around, and then he reached back, and I know of only one. That's Peter, but to think of all the people who he
has touched.
I think some people's efforts to rehabilitate themselves ring hollow.
Yeah.
But Charles Colson, no.
Yeah.
No. Amazing when someone can do that. I think, I really do. Is that it? That's it?
I think we've run him over the coals.
Well, this is going to be
we'll be
fascinating.
to see this.
I mean, this is just going to be one of those stories that
grow.
you're just going to, we're going to eat this one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Well, we'll see. We'll see what his
I never
response is.
thought that the I couldn't in my head see. I thought, excuse me, let me back up and start that sentence. I felt that Christie would probably be the biggest threat the Republicans could put up against Hillary.
Right.
And in fact, a recent poll showed him, not that these mean anything, actually beating her.
Right.
But I couldn't figure out how Christie would be the nominee of the Republican Party as currently constituted, since he's, believe it or not mean enough.
Yeah, right. Well, what's interesting to that when you started saying
Barack Obama.
Well, the thing I was just thinking of, can this be even more Machiavellian, which is, can that wing of the teabaggers, etc., have maybe dug this up? And I mean, not that it didn't happen, but like,
I'm sure
because they wanted to dump him.
I'm sure some of them are happy.
Well, Schadenfreude, as I said earlier.
Self-destructed. Just because you mentioned Rodman, I for those who didn't see this interview, he was in North Korea.
Right.
Did I take a break?
Yes, we took one, yes.
God, do you believe I forgot I took a break? I did.
He and other
all
players.
the players that he had brought with him to play this exhibition game. And while he's going off, all these other guys are sitting beside him or behind him, and the looks I felt so sorry for those guys. I really did. The looks on their faces were like, what the hell have we gotten into? Oh my God. And I saw a few of them actually look like they were going to get sick. Yeah. And I thought, I wonder if any of them are going to get up and walk out. And then I thought, they're in North Korea.
They can't hail a cab.
No. You don't want to diss the big cheese's best buddy.
Yeah, right.
You got to sit there.
And I'm sure they were there because they probably were paid a bloody
I'm sure they were paid a lot. And they should have been wiser, though, about what they did.
Exactly.
Frankly, I feel sorry for them. And one of them is a Pittsburgh connection.
Oh, really?
I thought I recognized him. He played for Pitt. I want to say Charles Smith. I think that's the name. And I just adored this guy when he was at
professional
Pitt.
sport?
I believe he did. Mm-hmm. I don't think he was ever huge in the NBA. If somebody could help me here, I don't know. But when I saw him, I thought, oh, no, why did you do that? Stupid. But you got to figure a lot of them that are there right because they're not in a good place and they need money.
But do you think, what is it? Well, he's obviously mad. I mean, remember when he dressed up as a bride?
But you know what? But listen, he's a character. He's nuts.
Yeah, a character.
And I'm thinking, Mad knows Kim Jong-un is a crazy person, too.
And he's, on one level, perhaps, this sounds ridiculous, no fool in that maybe he thought he could get in for his people.
Maybe.
He would look like,
right,
he
or
can
whatever.
bring in the...
And maybe Rodman actually thought he could be a hero and...
But then with that response about, because I didn't completely understand this, but there's an American journalist who's being held.
I don't think he's
or
a
something?
journalist. No, he's there because he's accused, I think, of spreading Christianity, of proselytizing, and he's in prison there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And there have been some efforts to try to get
him out.
But and there was hope that Rodman could use
be
his
a
friendship. And
emissary.
instead, in this news conference, he just turns on the guy.
Yeah.
Says, "You don't know what he did to North Korea." Oh God. So no.
Now is Rodman still playing?
No.
Okay, so he's just a fool.
You know, and
Not
he was
professional.
a hell of a player.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Even though I'm not a sports person, but I
No,
remember
he's a hell
that.
of a player.
Yeah.
But always a nutcase.
Always a nutcase, right?
And he must love.
The limelight.
Yes, he must love attention, and he getting plenty. But he better watch out because at some point, it's not that he'll run afoul of North Korea. He's gonna, in some ways, potentially run afoul.
Well,
of,
what I don't understand is how could he go there?
You can, as a private citizen. I guess there's nothing that prevents you from going. Now, the people behind
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I think you can travel to North Korea.
Okay.
Why would you wanna?
Well, no, but I mean, I thought it was like Havana and all those years ago where you couldn't get a passport and what have you.
I don't think. I think it's one of those places where they just assume no one in their right mind would go. Now, okay, well. So, moving on to another.
This is one, excuse me, this is an instance where I think, even though he's a nutcase, everyone knows he's a nutcase, but he's popular in certain ways. This is where I think Obama should, in some press conference, say something about, this is a disgrace that an American citizen, one who had, through the system become in his hard work, I presume, had become very successful in his career, and now is like a disgrace to our country.
Well, but I think in some ways, there's two sides to that the president should even...
but on the same level, it's gotten international news. He is an American of note. It's not like Schlemiel. I mean, he is known and admired by kids.
No, he's not admired by anybody. He's a nut. He's a walking train wreck who people like watching.
But kids, though, who know he was a good sport.
Oh, they think he's funny.
Funny and was a good basketball player.
Right.
I mean,
but mostly it's funny to them, I think, a lot of people. You don't care.
No, I don't.
You saw that.
Yes.
Did
it show what the new one's going to be?
The Pirates, it's just going to be a P.
Oh, a P.
A P. The Pirates are changing. They're going to sort of shove off the growling pirate. He's not going to be their logo anymore, which is fine with me. I frankly never liked this guy. But
it's interesting. I remember in high school, our team was called the Redskins.
Of course.
And nowadays...
You can't do that.
Like many teams have changed their...
Except the Redskins.
Oh, that's right. The main team. That's right. I forgot about that.
No, they won't do it.
And what city is that?
That's Washington, D.C.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. So I want to take a moment to go from the ridiculous, namely Rodman, to the sublime. And that's Gabrielle Giffords. She is... You didn't happen to read her piece in the New York Times yesterday, did you?
No.
Gabrielle
Op-ed?
Gabrielle Giffords. Yeah, I guess it's not really. It was more sort of a personal thing.
Okay.
Where she talks about it was the anniversary of her
shooting.
Mm-hmm. That has been 3 years now.
Really? Wow, my God.
And she says in the piece that I know a lot of people look at me, and she's so right, and all they see is what I've lost. They see that I can't talk as well. They see that I can't see as well. They see that my right arm and my right leg are paralyzed, so I have trouble walking. They see this and think of me as somebody who, and she she goes from that to say how it gave, she's alive. She she is alive, and she struggles every day in rehab. She said it is brutal. This is her life now, rehab. She said the constant repetition of some little teeny move or learning a word. She said, so it might, and finally, I got the word. But that just means go back to the beginning. It's like the myth of Sisyphus. Yeah. Go back to the beginning, and there's always another word.
Yeah, sure.
And this is her life, but she has embraced this life, and it's changed her head about progress and how it happens. And she said, when Newtown happened, that massacre, she realized that this was something that would give her a reason to go on. She talked about the fact that she had thought she would, before she was shot, she had plans to have a family, to do this, to that. Everything was blown up in her face. So then she said, do this. And she said, I know people, so many of you who want saner gun laws, think, what's the point? This country's nuts. The NRA has us by the throat.
Right.
And our cowardly representatives by their gonads. And there's nothing that can be done. But she said, but I now know that being relentless, being willing to just keep on keeping on, to never stop, you end up making progress. So she has a totally different view of how things change.
Right.
And I think this is brilliant.
Well, an interesting thing about it, when you were talking, I was thinking, connecting it up to what we were talking about before, the Christie thing is, on one level, silly, it's nefarious and all that, and it's going to get a lot of attention just because of all the things we were talking about, whereas she isn't. Right. And the sad thing is, news is news because it's noteworthy. Not that hers isn't, but, a lot of people, and also this is on the front page of the New York Times, that was in the middle of the paper. It's sad that so often what she said, which is really about human life. You don't have to be shot to have to talk about incremental steps. And you mentioned the Sisyphus myth. But that's the sad thing. What
she says? I don't think that bothers her anymore. What she's saying is, I just keep on keeping on.
But I'm talking about for her morality tale to be seen by a wide audience, to understand because for all of us, there's something that we've had to struggle with. Or whether it's illness or emotional things or a family or a societal condition, race or what have you, sexual orientation. And that can apply to all of them. Maybe not as poignantly as she has pointed out. But
so you know what she did yesterday?
No, what did she do?
She is she skydived.
Oh, my God, wow.
3 years after she should have, by all accounts,
just been dead.
Died.
Yeah.
She jumped out of an airplane.
Good for her.
And she also said in her piece in the Times, and I do suggest you look it up if you want inspiration. There it is. She did announce at the end of the thing, talking about these, slow changes. She said, and now I'll say something that I have not said publicly before, and that is that for the first time since she was shot, she can, in a very small way, move her right hand.
Wow.
And she, keep on.
And tomorrow in 2 months she may be able to write her signature. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Well, she said she's had to learn to write her signature with her left hand.
Oh, I see, right.
And
Making do, right.
And it doesn't look good, but that's how it is. But she keeps working on that right hand. And you would think after 3 years, don't you give up? It ain't going to happen.
Sure.
You know?
Very easy to give up. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And so she says, now when I want my hand to move in a certain way, I can do it.
Well, one thing that I said before we go to break, I really have always believed, even though it can be seen as mawkish, but I've always believed that phrase or that maxim, God never gives us something that we can't deal with.
Right.
And obviously she's handling it.
Oh, Mike from Philly, thanks, says Charles Smith from the Plata Pitt had a very good career in the NBA. He was drafted 3rd overall. Wow. And played 9 years. Retired because of bad knees. Also very active with the NBA Players Association. Well, what the hell how is he friends with Rodman?
But he's someone, obviously, who isn't making $1 million a year. So maybe if he got $250,000, you know, can't blame the guy at one level.
I really liked him. Dang it. Who'd he play for? That's my follow-up question. And then we do have to take a break. Thank you for reminding me. Quick one, and we'll be right back.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
And Carson thinks he's just an ordinary guy. Then, strange things begin to happen, and he discovers his true identity. He's Awesome Man. Now, the fate of the planet Fatal is in his hands as he battles the likes of the evil Mr. Crouton. Luckily, Awesome Man has a vast array of superpowers, which enables him to get out of every jam. Once the people of Planet Fatal are safe, Dan Carson reverts back to his everyday life. But if danger ever returns to Fatal, Awesome Man is sure to answer the call. Awesome Man is the brainchild of Dale Carter, a hometown boy living in Indianapolis. His love for superheroes inspired him to create the latest and greatest superhero on the scene today, Awesome Man. Get your copy today. Visit Amazing Books at 926 Liberty Avenue, downtown Pittsburgh, or call 412-471-1899. Go online to order at DurantsBookstore.com. All rights reserved. Copyright 2009 by Dale Carter. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopying, recording, or by any information storage and retrieval system with permission in writing from the publisher or author.
Download the brand new CP Haps app and find out what's going on in Pittsburgh. It's the fun and free app that puts the most popular events at your fingertips. Text events to 77948 to download now and register to win tickets to the Jay-Z Magna Carta World Tour coming to the Consol Energy Center January 21st. The CP Haps app, brought to you by Pittsburgh City Paper.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
I heard somebody say we're back. Do you think we are? We are! Did you hear there's a shortage of Velveeta cheese? Do they call that cheese? Yeah, Velveeta.
It's like plastic cheese.
It is. It's plastic cheese, but apparently what's so amazing is that unbelievable numbers of people eat it.
Well, you know what it is? I think now there's a connection too. This is my life. All those tires that got burned out on the bridge going to New Jersey, they should send those to the Velveeta company because I think they're made out of old tires and old condoms.
Do you think? Do you think? Well, wait, where is it? I did actually have this.
And people like it because it has no taste. I mean, think of good cheddar cheese compared to
I think
Velveeta.
That Velveeta's clearly, if you ever like get nachos at the ballpark,
because it melts very quickly.
That very glutinous, oleaginous would be right. Horribly yellow stuff that's over it.
Yeah.
I think
and
is
very
often
much dyed.
But here's what I want to tell you: it is apparently one of the highest selling.
Well, so is spam.
That comes out of the cheese. Did I ever tell you that long ago, Sally Wiggin and I signed up for a Chinese cooking class? And it was held in the building on the corner of Grant and 7th. What is that building? Copper's building?
Grant and 7th.
Yeah, across from the golf building and across from U.S.
Yeah, I think it
UPMC.
is, or something. Yeah.
Anyway, it was held in there. And it was by a real Chinese woman.
Yes.
And we both went, because neither of us could cook much at that point. And the first thing that we made in that class used Spam. And when this Chinese cook shoves, and then you take a can of Spam, Sally and I looked at each other like, what? What? You take, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Well, but-
it is today, it is one of the biggest protein sources in Hawaiian cooking.
Well,
because there's
then-
something, I think it's called poke, and that you chop it up because they don't have much land for grazing beef and pigs, so this stuff is imported in these cans. I always remember Ogden Dash. Ain't got no teeth, ain't got no gums. Don't eat no Spam, don't need no Tums.
What is it? Is it mostly pork? I think it's
pork
pork.
and things you don't want to know.
and-
The same crap that's in Velveeta probably
Right,
is in Spam.
but it's very, I think, salty. So it adds a lot of flavor and then gives, a sense of meat.
Chewiness, yes,
yeah,
right.
and chewiness. So I can understand it, but that was such a horrible way to be introduced to Chinese cooking, and I really never got over it. I don't believe Sally and I even went back. I don't have any recollection of learning anything else at that thing.
This Spam knocked you over.
Oh, my God.
Excuse me.
Okay. So I thought I can't bring up the article on it, but the people, like the spokeswoman for Velveeta cheese, made a pronouncement, which was so funny because it said something like America's favorite cheese, and it turns out it's Velveeta. You may not be able to locate it on your grocer's shelf. This was a national thing that came out.
It's funny.
Because, well, listen, here's
Everyone's-
why.
Oh, tell me.
Because we've just come off the big Velveeta season. Why? Oh, no, we're heading into it. Well, playoff games, Super Bowl. They're saying they're getting worried because people make Velveeta. Cheese? It
Yeah, use
is.
cheese.
It's Velveeta.
And
I
it
don't-
comes in those long things that look like briquettes of gold bouillon.
It's disgusting.
I remember once in high school.
Obviously, a lot of people like it.
Oh, I remember once in high school, I did something with a food bank, and I remember giving out those logs to people.
Oh.
And they were always, each slice was individually wrapped with plastic.
Are you sure? Velveeta?
Oh, back then, yes. Well, it was easier. You didn't have to
Kraft
cut
does
it.
that.
Well, Velveeta did too. And I remember giving these, but I thought, excuse me, I was thinking, oh my God, we're giving them this junk. I mean, these poor people didn't have any food, but.
Well,
Let's give
anyway.
them some potato chips on top
This
of
is
it.
just a public service. I'm
Okay,
saying
thank you.
that if, you're going to the store today and you can't find your Velveeta, it could be a while. It get all... They're
The
very...
tragedy.
No,
the
and I
president
guess-
will speak from
I
the
don't-
Rose Garden on this. America, there is no Velveeta in the store.
Well, I don't know. So something really must have gone wrong with their whatever, that you come to this pretty pass. And I guess they're worried because, they're heading into...
Isn't there? There's a new company, well, a couple of years now, I think, in Braddock that takes old chicken fat from McDonald's and makes gas.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe all that crap, which would have gone into Velveeta, is going into gas.
Well,
for
that
our
would
cars.
be a better better use for it.
I wonder what Jacques Pepin would think of Velveeta. How would you use a Jacques with a croissant or with a pan perdu?
Being from America's Dairyland and cheese world,
Yes, of course.
I mean, Velveeta is looked askance at even in Wisconsin.
Oh, sure. I think
Isn't it
poor
the real deal?
Jess, our wisdom queen, can't look up because our machines are broken. But I'd love to know when Velveeta was first discovered. Created. They found it. They dug in.
Well, it was I think
Whoa, Velveeta.
it was the same lab that Dr. Frankenstein used.
It was favorite food.
Right. First, he made the bride, and then he made Velveeta.
Or maybe it was like on the 8th day, God created Velveeta.
Oh, God. Unbelievable.
Now, this thing we're laughing, and something that just struck me, and it's terrible. We shouldn't. I mean,
You're being an elitist, is what
well,
you're being.
not just elitist, but many people. I mean, if you like it, that's one thing, and you're a black.
That's okay.
But many poor people are sustained by Velveeta and Spam, and if that's better, they have that than nothing. I mean, that's, to be totally sober about this.
Well, I saw that the food banks are trying to transition
Oh, that was very interesting
from canned
article.
foods to
Produce.
to actual real food.
But it was very
and
interesting because they talked
that's a
about
tough thing to do.
Well, because of timing. Let's say if there's extra bananas in California, the time it takes to get them from here to say to Pittsburgh, are they beginning to get too ripe? And then does Pittsburgh have the chilling compartments to keep those bananas? And then the other thing I thought was very interesting was, do many people who use food banks know how to deal with raw produce? Like, do they know how to cook cabbage? That was also mentioned in there.
Really?
Yeah, like people are so used to just opening beans
cans.
with like lots of salt and
Yeah.
putting it in a pot. But to take, how do you top and tail a bean and then steam it, and it really gets to a very deep source of. I'm rambling a little bit, but I remember one time I was in the Giant Eagle on the north side. What was I buying? Kohlrabi.
Oh, you've told us this.
Yeah. And this person said, "Oh, what is that?" Now, kohlrabi is fairly arcane, I will say. But another time I was buying celery.
That's right. He didn't know
I
what it was.
I didn't know what it was. And I was and this was a teenager, but that tells you something about what our Americans' kitchens or lack thereof are providing our
I've never
people.
cooked with kohlrabi.
It's a sort of
It's a root.
Lots of Middle European, Hungarian. It's very good.
Oh, I bet it is.
You can stuff it like you stuff cabbage. It's very good.
Roots. Okay, so. Oh, God. As if there's not enough construction going on in my neighborhood in the East End. You see that Whole Foods is going to
Go to
add a second story and
most of the parking and
a
to the
little bit
shop.
more parking, right? I have not set foot in Whole Foods in, I think, it might even be almost a year.
What is wrong with you?
I'll tell you what's wrong with me. First of all, I don't like the politics of the owner.
Oh, yeah, well, I agree
Second
with
of
that.
all,
I agree with that.
it's true. It's a pain in the neck to play, it's like playing musical chairs and you
That's
never
true, to
win.
park there,
you
right.
can't park. So the fact if they make it twice as big, but they only add 50-some
I thought that was interesting. It
parking
wasn't that many.
spots.
They could use triple
I mean,
the amount.
that is ridiculous. It's still going to be a joke. The other reason I don't like Whole Foods is I don't like overpaying for stuff. I mean, it's ludicrous.
That
whole paycheck is what
exactly.
people say.
No, I remember saying once when it first opened to the girl, the checkout girl, I said, I don't think I ever shop here where I don't spend $100.
Oh.
Even if I have 2 or 3 things, but if it's like a better piece of meat
Well, it's
or something,
ridiculous. You go to get a muffin, and you pick up the muffin, and it's like
$7.50.
Yeah, who needs it?
Then you want to count the raisins in the
Yeah,
muffin.
right. And speaking of it, is their celery so much better? Is their kohlrabi so much better? No.
Well, in terms of some of the,
I don't.
from my opinion, if you go to the Market District, Giant Eagles, yes. If you go to the Tabula Rasa Giant Eagles,
Well, I go to the funky Giant Eagles.
Oh, you do?
I go to the one that clearly has been designated for minorities.
Which is that?
On Shakespeare.
Oh, that one, yes, okay.
Yeah. They don't staff the checkouts as well. You can expect to wait in line
that's right.
longer.
But you wait in line
You
often
can see-
at Whole Foods, too. But do they have the automatic spritzers with water like Whole Foods does?
Yeah, Giant Eagle does.
They do?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
So anyway, No, Whole Foods is just a little too for my taste.
Oh, you woman of the people, you.
Yeah, next time you see me in there, though, you say, hey, I thought you were...
Put down that chocolate babka.
Every once in a while, I do go in because there's something that I
right.
can't find anywhere
Right.
else, or I need it. But I really do avoid it. I'm sorry. I do.
Now, where do you stand since we're taking down all of the food purveyors?
Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's.
I like it.
Oh, good.
And, I mean, it's not a full servicey thing. I mean, you can often not find, if
Certain
I have
kind
a
of
grocery
products,
list, I'm thinking, I really want to go to Trader Joe's, but I'm not going to be able to get
cat food.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But I really like it. The price is right there. Interesting things, great frozen
Yes, great
stuff.
frozen
Great
things.
frozen stuff.
I can't believe we're critiquing supermarkets. This show is degraded so much. What about Costco?
Costco's good too, and
But
that's
then you have
good
to have
ownership.
8,000 rolls
Yeah,
of toilet
I know.
paper.
But you find a friend.
But as I said, but if you're full of shit, it's a good place to go.
All right, you. So the only thing I wanted to say, speaking of full of shit, UPMC. Did you see this thing that some study came out? And it said, among American hospitals, you pay more at UPMC Shadyside and UPMC Presby than at almost all other hospitals in the country.
Oh my God!
More than 8 times higher. They jack up their actual costs by more than 8 times.
Wow. The only thing about that, though, is...
They say because it's a teaching hospital, blah, 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 blah.
No, but the only thing about that, though, is that sounds awful and one wants to question that. But what do they actually get when you go through the whole
no, because the insurance... But this is the absurdity of our entire...
Say you're going to pay $8,000 for an
you-
appendectomy, and then you only get $1,500 from the insurance company.
Okay, the study says that UPMC Shadyside and Presby charge an average of $869 for every $100 of their costs. Compare it to Allegheny General, which only ups it by, they charge $403.
That's double.
So they double the cost of Allegheny, and St. Clair comes in even.
Do they
under
mention like a big city hospital like New York or Los Angeles?
No, they don't, but I'm sure you can find out more about this. For congestive heart failure, for example, you go to UPMC Shadyside, you're going to get an average charge of $41,424, the highest in the region. That compares to $26,000 at AGH and $18,000 at St. Clair.
Now, let me ask just one more question.
Laparoscopic gallbladder removal.
Oh, what is that?
Okay, Shadyside, $58,500. Isn't that unbelievable? $58,550, and AGH $29,000.
Now, do they say, because the interesting question is you mentioned the two Oakland
Shadyside.
But what about Mercy or some of the other?
That's not, this article
That's
does
interesting.
not go.
Would they be different, like from one of those that's in
I don't know,
Marysville?
but quite clearly this has to do with, and the insurance companies, they've got, here's why people need that information. If you don't have insurance, this matters a lot.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah, UPMC, the grand charity that we all, pay homage
With
to.
no employees.
With no employees. That's in the business section of the Post-Gazette today, if you want to look closer. And there is a connection to a site where the original thing is, if you want to learn more. And we're out of time. So thank you very much for being here with us.
See you next week.
On this warming January day.
Exactly.
And great to have Tom back and Chris Potter tomorrow. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.